It's another edition of Leadership in 30 Minutes. And my name, as always, is Olatunji Shobodu. I started discussing a very important issue on our subject of leadership on Monday. Leadership Monday was focused on showing on this same question, the question or the requirement to show proof. All right, the requirement to show proof. And I did say I was going to continue that discussion today and be more elaborate in my on the subject. So you can check out the video for Monday. Show proof was what I began to talk about. But today, I'm just going to further that by asking you as a leader, where is your proof? Where is your proof? And you may ask, proof of what? Well, proof that anyone should follow you. Proof that you are indeed a leader. Proof that your leadership doesn't just derive from your title or the authority that you command, but it derives from you living up to the true calling or the true expectations of a leader. Where is your proof? Where is your proof? All right. And this is something that many leaders assume away. We assume that, yes, because we have been designated as the head of the team, we have been designated as the boss, therefore everyone should line up behind us, no questions asked, everyone should commit fully to us. And that often ends up being a big assumption to make, an unrealistic one at that, because you ask yourself, why should anyone follow you just because you have been designated as a leader? Well, yes, maybe out of respect, people can commit to you, but I wouldn't want you to run your leadership agenda on the basis of that. I would prefer that you earn the commitment of the people, and that requires you to show compelling proof that you are worthy to be followed, that you know what you are doing, that you bring something to the table. All right. Now, I began last week by talking about what is the reason, what is the proof? Okay. But before I go that, let me make a distinction here. There is what qualifies you to be a leader, but it's different, quite a different thing, what proves you to be a leader. What qualifies you to lead talks about, what are those things that you must imbibe from other leaders so that you can walk in their shoes, all right, beyond your time, all right, of tutelage under them. And I usually draw from the example of Jesus in Matthew 4 and Luke 4, where he was put through 3 very important tests before he was released, as it were, to go and fulfill his mandate. And the very first thing he did thereafter was to put together his team, meaning that passing those tests was a prerequisite for him to take on the leadership responsibility. And there are three factors that you would find there that proves you to be a leader. And, I have spoken about this in previous, broadcasts. And the first one is, your capacity to handle authority and power. Your capacity to handle authority and power. If you are one to abuse power, you are not qualified to lead. If you are one to use power and authority to serve your purpose, your interest, instead of the interest of your calling to lead, instead of the interest of your people, you are not qualified to lead. That's the first one. Number two is your capacity to handle privilege responsibly. The truth is that your leadership position often comes with certain privileges. And, many leaders, unfortunately, so-called leaders, abuse these privileges. The fact that something has been provided for you to enjoy as a leader does not mean that you have to necessarily enjoy it. All right? And, that's another thing. If you are one to abuse privilege, then you are not ready to lead. You are not qualified to lead. That is a factor that disqualifies people from leading. Leaders know how to use their privileges that come with their position responsibly. The third one is, are you one who is faithful, all right, to the things that you have learned from your leader? Will you be loyal to the things that you've learned? Will you put them to use, or you are one to go ahead and do his own thing, come up with his own ideas, all right, to revolt against the teachings of the one, all right, that you served under? So here it talks about loyalty. If you are one with a predisposition to betrayal, then you are not qualified to lead. If you abuse the privilege of following, you're not qualified to lead, because it's a privilege to follow any leader, meaning that it's a privilege to learn from a leader. And what's the point of learning if you're going to go ahead and simply do your own thing? That's an abuse of the privilege you have been given to learn from your leader. That's why loyalty is one of the key attributes of leaders. Loyalty, to an extent, to the person that trained them, but more importantly, loyalty to the principles that they learned. That's where the courage and the boldness of leaders is really tested. Do you go ahead to do your own thing, or do you stay committed and stay true to implementing the things you have learned? And by the way, that's the way to do better than the one who taught you. So that deals with what qualifies you to be a leader. When it comes to showing proof that you are a leader, it's a different ballgame. It's a different ballgame. All right? You need to show proof that you are sent. How do you show proof that you are sent? How do you show proof that You have what it takes to lead. How do you convince people who work with you that they should pay the right kind of attention to you, that they should accord the right weight to the instructions you give, to the things you communicate, to the things that you teach? This is very important. Where is your proof? That's what we're talking about today. Where is your proof? Stop expecting that people will follow you just because you're a leader or designated as one. Earn their leadership. Their following. Earn their commitment. Earn their trust and respect. It's part of the hard work that leaders need to engage. All right? You must prove that you are sent. Meaning you must prove that you are the product of some other leader. That's what leadership is, a continuum. Leaders are trained. Even if you have certain, traits that point to the fact that, yes, you are the kind of person that can assume leadership position. Some people are like that. They just, when they are within a community, they tend to be favored to be the ones to lead. Unfortunately, it is possible to, overrate ourselves when we're in that kind of situation and begin to think that we're good leaders or that we're true leaders. And so we are not serving, as it were, under anybody. We're not making effort to learn from under anybody. But because we have been, chosen, most times when we're in a group, it's almost given that we're the ones, maybe because of our personality and all of that. That does not prove that you have what it takes to lead. It's safer to be trained, all right, to follow somebody, because the path to becoming a leader is to follow one. That's how you become a leader in reality. The kind of leadership or the kind of leader, all right, that you want to be, that is one that is what? His or her sort. That is one that people can depend on to add value to them, to help them to grow, all right, and to set them on the path of fulfillment of their potential. All right, those kinds of leaders are trained. And so you ought to be as well. So you need to prove, if leaders are trained, then it stands to reason that what is expected of a leader is to show that you are trained, is to show that somebody, you are produced, all right, by somebody else. That's your proof. That's what will make people commit to you. They know they are not flying blind. They know they are not, walking with someone who has no history, who has no root. All right. They can relate to the fact that, yes, this person was trained. And I'm going to just mention 4 ways by which you do that. The first one is that you need to reveal your identity. Who are you? Your personality, or if you like, your character. Very important. Very important. Your character is very, very important. There's something I love, each time I look at Jesus as a role model leader. And the way he did this was to consistently declare who he was. I am this, I am the door, I am the bread of life, I am the way, the truth, and the life, I am the vine, I am. So he didn't leave, his people to be hazarding a guess as to who he was. He revealed different aspects of who he was by all of those pronouncements. I think there are about 12 of them. And nothing stops you from doing that. Because as I mentioned repeatedly, when you say this is who you are, it makes you accountable to live up to it. And so you better not say something that you are not, because your people will see through you. And that will be proof, rather, that you are not supposed to be leading them. And that's not what you want to achieve. All right? Your identity is important. Because leadership involves the transfer of attributes from a leader to the follower. It involves the development of the person, particularly the character of the person. And so this has to be one of the things that you are projecting. The second thing is you need to reveal your principles. You need to reveal your principles. Now, principles are so important. What do you believe? What drives your approach to leadership? All right? What's your school of thought? Because this is what guarantees that on that journey, you are going to be consistent. And people can depend on you. People can find you reliable. You are not going to be blown by emotions, to do things based on situation, based on favoritism and all of that. Your leadership will be anchored to clear principles. And so your people can predict you. And everybody wants that, because what you would have, the way you come across will be that you are someone who is objective. When you follow a clear principle, you will always be objective and never subjective. But too many people, times, those who are not trained lead by trial and error. Nobody knows why they do what they do. And so in situations that look the same, they do different things. I mean, how do you prove that you are worthy to be followed when you can't be trusted to remain consistent from situation to the situation? It's impossible to be consistent if your approach is not anchored to principles, clear set of principles. Those were the things that Jesus basically taught through his parables. A clear set of principles. You knew where he stood. You knew how he would deal with any situation. You knew exactly why he did what. And he was not known to play favorites. Never. Why? Because he was clear. And he made clear to his people the principles by which he operated, the values that he upheld, the beliefs that he had. It was not economical about that. It was frontal about that. And he encouraged them to embrace the same thing, because those things he taught were the things that he did. And that's what every leader who is worth its salt, who wants to be taken seriously, needs to commit himself to. All right? That's what you should be committed to. All right? It's still part of proving that you are sent. If you were well trained, there are clear principles that you would have learned. First, about the business of leadership and the business of life. And those are principles that if you are a true protege of your leader, you will subscribe to as well. You can't claim to be a true protege, to be a true successor, to be the product of any leader whose principles you did not subscribe to or you do not subscribe to. If that's what you are doing, you are proving yourself to be disloyal. You are betraying all the things that you were taught. And whatever may be the motivation is not going to serve you well. You will be disappointed at the end of the day, because the people you are leading will see through you. They will not commit to you. They won't commit to you. All right. The way Jesus expressed something like this when he was telling God, about what he had done, how successful he had been as a leader, he said, I have given them your word. I have given them your word. They know I came from you. He wasn't selling his own principles. He was selling the principles that he learned. And they know that these were not things that he came up with. They were things that he was taught. And they were the same things that he practiced. The third element is you reveal a track record or a reputation. You see, when you begin to lead, well, some of the people that you are working with may have heard about you. And I hope you do have a good reputation. So that may help. But they still need you to prove your reputation. If you had a good reputation, well, now is a chance to show them that what they found out about you is right. If they haven't found out anything about you, well, you still have to show them that you have capacity to make things happen. All right? That you bring to the table certain, skills and competencies to make relevant things happen for the team and in their lives. You need a track record, not just a historical one, but one that they can relate to in their walk with you. Is something to have achieved certain kinds of results before. All right? Your reputation in that sense may have preceded you, but now that you have come into this team, into this relationship, all right, we want to see those things proved or proven. All right? So what are some of the results that you get? What do they observe about you in practice? Do you confirm those things that they have heard? Do they see achievements that will make them say, wow, we have never seen it in this fashion? That will make them marvel at how you handle issues. For example, all right, the comportment that you project when challenges, arise. The way you navigate tricky situations. The resilience that you exhibit. The results that your intervention, your direct intervention, bring about. Your resolution of tricky situations. The quality of counsel that they receive. And how those, the counsel enhances their ability to get their job done. These are the ways by which you confirm your reputation, revealing it to them directly, that it's not just about what you heard, all right, but now as we relate, you can have a first-hand experience, all right? That's another thing that you need to do. Doing that shows indeed that you are worthy to lead them. All right? That they are committing to follow you will not be a mistake. And then, of course, let's talk about the impact that you made on them. Because people want to see that in the end, the purpose of your leadership is so that you affect the life of each of your people for good. All of these things, revealing your identity, sharing your principles, revealing your reputation, they must translate into impact in the lives of the people. Impact in their character, impact in their ability to think through issues, impact in their skills, impact by way of the quality of results that they now begin to get. When people see that the impact is positive, is significant, is consistent, then guess what? They are convinced that this is the leader to follow. This is a person, that is taking us somewhere. This is one that we can count on, all right, for the transformation that our lives require. Okay? So, you have those 4 things that must be in place. This is how you show proof that you are sent as a leader, that you are an agent of another, that you have been trained properly, that you have what it takes to take the people to a better place than where you met them, that you have what it takes to add value to their lives. All right? 1, to reveal your identity. 2, to reveal your principles. 3, to reveal your reputation. And 4, to reveal your impact. If you can do those 4, all right, haven't been truly qualified to lead, then you would have shown proof. And the evidence of that will be in the commitment of your team members to you. You won't have to beg people to obey you. You won't have to beg people to take your word seriously. You will seldom be disappointed, all right, by the unwillingness of people to collaborate and cooperate effectively with you. You would find yourself in a position where leadership is made a lot easier because you have willing and committed people, and you can supply them the ability wherever they may be lacking. Together, you are able to do great things. Paramount among which is to reproduce, all right, credible, quality proteges from your team as well. And that's where I'll be, closing on the discussion today. We have been talking about where is your proof? The proof that you're a leader, that is worth following. Don't forget, I began this to talk about this series on Leadership Monday. And that was where Leadership Monday. So you want to check it out, check out the video in the channel. And, together with this, I think it will give you a solid understanding, of the subject matter. And this is crucial if you truly want to make your leadership an unforgettable experience for the people who follow you. That's it for this week. Thank you for joining me once again. My name remains Olatunji, and I'm here for you on all issues relating to leadership. You can reach out in the description area. There's a link, and whatever way we can be of help, please reach out. And then you also have different programs that are identified in the description. check them out. They are designed specially for you, and you will be glad, at what you hear, what you learn from them. It makes the difference. We know that because of the reports that we have received from those who have attended them. So enjoy what remains, of the week. And till Monday again, when we come together on Leadership Monday, I remain yours, the anchor for the program, Olatunji. And this has been another edition of Leadership in 30 Minutes. Thank you for joining. See you soon. Bye-bye.